Today I'm here with Penny Anderson, a local artist and shape note singer here in Pittsburgh. We're very excited to partner with her for our April 26th event of the Global Choral Tradition Series, this time here at City of Asylum. Penny, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I would like to begin, Penny, by asking you to tell us a little bit about some of the things you do and what you're passionate about with shape note music.
Yeah, so I've been singing since I was quite small. There was always music in the family and a lot of singing, and I've done choral singing off and on throughout my life, as well as solo singing, folk singing, and ended up kind of by accident being the organizer and leader for the local shape note sing, which I've been doing, I'm not quite sure how long now. 12 years maybe.
And what kinds of people attend these kind of local shape note sings, and what is their general expectation and reaction afterwards?
Well, the people who come back time after time are quite a varied bunch. We're all ages, although we tend a little bit older because older people have more time, I guess. People when they have kids, especially very young kids, will vanish for a while. It's people of all religious persuasions as well as none. It tends to be people who are interested in folk music, people who've had some contact with folk revival, but not always. Not always. Some people have come to us because of the movie Cold Mountain, which features shape note singing in one scene. And they got all curious about it and came, and it stuck.
Yeah, absolutely, a variety of people, and certainly for our event that we're partnering for, we'll have people of a number of different varieties of experiences. Most of the people that I talk to have never heard of shape note singing. So my question would be, just very simply, to someone who's never even heard of this kind of music, how would you explain what shape note music or shape note singing is to them?
Shape note music or shape note singing is both an American singing tradition and a repertoire of music. So it's a group of songs and a way of singing them. And it's primarily not a performance practice, it's a social practice and a spiritual practice for some people who do it.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of what people will come to this event, they'll have a reference of maybe what we would call more traditional choral music, Western choral music, ensemble singing style in one sense, but like you're saying, this is more social, and I think you've even told me more participatory, and it's almost not even meant for audiences in a sense.
No, it's not meant for audiences at all. So for
why
instance,
is that?
Yeah, why is that? It's because it's for the purpose of it, the meaning of it is singing together, and for some of us, singing is a spiritual practice. So if there is an audience, it's an unseen divine audience, as well as the audience of each other. So we're really not trying to create an aesthetic experience so much as a together experience. Absolutely,
and I know you and I are both very excited to have the event here at City of Asylum. This is a very versatile space. They do a lot of things with their space. And you've told me a little bit about the setup of shape note music. So traditionally people may expect that you're there on the stage and we're all facing you and you're leading us maybe like some sort of Western choral conductor. But that's not the case for shape note music, right? Could you explain the setup of what a typical shape note sing looks like?
Right. What we do is the music is usually sung in 4 parts, as most choral music in the Western tradition is, but we set up in what's called the hollow square, with each vocal part on one side of the hollow square, and if there's a leader, that leader stands in the middle, and he or she faces the tenor section, which sings the melody.
Absolutely, and what types of things does this leader do to lead?
So the leading is not like conducting in the formal sense. The leader is really there to beat time, to sometimes in some of the tunes where there are entrances to cue entrances, but the singers really are quite autonomous and don't need to be cued normally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you mentioned this isn't exactly an aesthetic experience, it's not necessarily meant for an audience. Could you touch a little bit more on vocally? So, we're inviting participants of any background to come and literally participate. Some people may have sung in a choir before or in other styles. How is Shape Note singing so unique, vocally speaking?
Vocally speaking, I'm not sure that it's unique. It's different from a trained choir style. I would say that to speak of shape note vocal technique is an oxymoron. It's a contradiction in terms. It's not so much a technique as a refusal of technique. People come and they sing however they can sing. There's no, and this might be hard for a choral singer, someone who's a trained
Sure.
choral singer to adapt to. There's no effort at choral blend. There's no effort at a line or a phrasing technique. There's no cut off. There's no conductor there cutting music, doing a cut off. There's the beat is steady, and there are practically no dynamic changes.
Sure, I understand that. However, in my little experience singing Shape Note, I have very little. There's some peculiarities, let's say. So we call it Shape Note. Could you explain a little bit about what people will expect to see within the Shape Note notated music and different types of facets of that? For example, with the solfege, it's not the same type of church mode solfege with do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. You use only a limited part of that scale. Can you explain a little bit about the notated part of Shape Note music?
Yes, I think I will start with, as you said, the solfege, the syllables, because that came first. In 17th century England and thereafter for quite some time, singing was typically taught with the 4-syllable system, just using the 4 syllables fa, sol, la, and mi. And you might say, how weird, because don't you need 7? But we get along. And this is typically how singing and music were taught. If you look at old musical treatises from the 17th century, that is what you see. And that's what was going on before shape notes were invented. And shape notes are a notation that was invented to reflect that solfege practice and to make it easier for people to learn to read music through these shapes. Would you like me to show?
Absolutely, please.
Yeah, so this is the book that is probably the dominant book in American shape note singing practice. It's called the Sacred Harp Denson Edition, and it has an introductory section called Rudiments of Music, where it shows the various scales in the shapes. I don't know if you can see that.
We can show it.
Yeah. So we have a shape for each syllable. And typically in a singing session, before we sing the song, we sing the melody, the parts of the song with the shapes, as we call it, or sometimes we say with the syllables. That is, we sing fa, sol, la, and mi instead of the words.
Absolutely. And for our session that you're leading in April, do you have a sense of what kinds of specific songs you're going to teach
Yes.
at that session?
Shape note music has a variety of genres that are included within it, and I hope that we'll sing something from each of them, the major ones of those. So that would include homophonic hymns, what are called fuguing tunes, which are really fun tunes with a little bit of non-homophonic sections, more folk-based shouting songs from the evangelical tradition, and maybe some modern songs. There are quite a few songs written in the 20th and 21st centuries in this tradition that just carry it on. So I thought it'd be fun to reflect that too.
And certainly, and we are very excited to have people in person and virtually. We're excited with City of Asylum's technological features. You know, we can show a lot of the resources you're talking about, videos, things like that. But if people want to learn more outside of the session or prior, before and after, where should they look, and where can they find more information about your own community endeavors?
Yeah, well, like everything else, shape note singing is extensively documented on the internet. And if you want to hear it and see it practiced, you can go to YouTube and just do some searches and see a variety of groups singing it and get some explanation there too. There's also sort of the mothership website, fasola.org. And for the local sing, there's my website, which is pendletonanderson.com. You can find shape note singing there. And the information on how we're meeting right now is in abeyance because of the pandemic. We're not meeting regularly. But we did meet outside as long as the weather was warm enough, so hope to keep doing that and maybe figure out a solution fairly soon for meeting inside.
Penny, can you please talk about the overall experience of this type of shape note singing? When it's really successful, I assume there's a lot going on with mind, body, and spirit, outside of course, just the music itself. Can you talk about almost the spiritual or the wow factor that really, you enjoy as part of successful shape note sings?
Yeah, so you've really described it well yourself. Beyond the music, which is really quite simple music, is the experience that we have when we're all kind of hitting on all cylinders and excited together and feeling the music and words together. And it can be quite a transporting experience and extremely joyful and extremely moving experience as well. And I think that's why people keep coming back, is for that deep connection.
Absolutely. Well, Penny, we're very excited to have you, and we hope for a very successful event. And you can find out more information, as she said, about Penny at pendletonanderson.com. Penny, we'd love for you to sign off and just say anything you want to about the event.
Well, I hope everybody who likes to sing will feel welcome and feel able to come in person. And even if you don't feel safe in person, I hope you'll at least watch the streaming.
Thank you very much.